in the world of sports is, the Kwame Brown situation. I talked about it on the Fixed Sports podcast. Make sure you go check it out. Ex-basketball player Kwame Brown was the first pick of the draft in 2001, 17-year-old kid coming out of high school in Georgia. Got drafted by the Washington Wizards. Played 12, 13 seasons in the NBA. But as the number one pick, he didn't pan out to be as celebrated and as great of a number one pick. So people call him a bust, even though I don't see how you can be a bust when you played 13 years. Like Jamarcus Russell was a bust. Ryan Leaf was a bust. Johnny Manziel was a bust. Like, they're no longer in the league. Like, he played 13 years, but he was a punchline in the NBA for 20 years. So they've been talking shit about the man, cracking jokes on it. He hadn't said anything. Then a couple of weeks ago, a month ago or so, Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson in the All the Smoke show. And one interview with, I think it began with the interview with Rachel Nichols. It was a little jabs at Kwame Brown. And then the interview with Gilbert Arenas at the 57-minute mark. They start talking about it because Gilbert Arenas, I think, was on the team. And they threw shots at Kwame Brown. And from there, Kwame Brown started going off. He went back at them. Went back at Matt Barnes, called Matt Barnes Becky with the good hair. That's Matt Barnes' name from now on. Went back at Steven Jackson, called him a fake thug and a fake Muslim. Threw some shots at Gilbert, even though I didn't think Gilbert said anything wrong. Then other people started jumping in and saying things, most notably Stephen A. Smith. He a bitch ass. He started saying stuff. Kwame Brown been ethering him. Charlemagne's a bitch. Charlemagne, in his alleged attempt to defend Kwame Brown, told the world how Kwame Brown's dad beat a woman and killed her, tried to bury her alive, how Kwame Brown's brother was murdered and all these things here, and then came back and said, well, where we from, when we trying to defend somebody, we tell all their business.
No,
But y'all need to keep,
bro.
you need to keep that. Y'all need to, you motherfuckers in South Carolina, if that's true, because I don't think I don't think he representing y'all right in South Carolina. But if that's true in South Carolina, y'all need to have a Negro meeting and change y'all policies. But anyway, so Kwame Brown went at him. And then your boy, who's the subject, who's the focus of us today. People cannot be talking about stuff, especially black men, can't be having agreements or disagreements on the internet without this dude having to insert himself some way. And that's y'all favorite homeboy, Dr. Boyce Watkins. Dr. Boyce Watkins made a video about Kwame Brown. The first video he made was, I think the title was How Kwame Brown's Channel Can Be Shut Down. So that's like the title. And he goes into explaining how the man's video can be shut down based off the content that Kwame's producing, because Kwame cussing everybody out.
Mm-hmm.
And so Kwame had the same question I had. Well, why would you make a video about that? Why not call him up before you make the video and say, hey, I know I'm giving unsolicited advice, but explain yourself and yada, 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 instead of making a video of, hey, this is how Kwame Brown's channel can be shut down. So Kwame Brown made a video of like, well, why the hell would you do that? So that started back and forth. So back and forth going on through. Then Kwame Brown like, hey, man, leave me alone. But you know Boyce Watkins. You know Boyce Watkins, Pat. Boyce, once Boyce don't like you, he's never going to stop talking about you. And that's where we're at now. And Boyce Watkins keeps making videos about Kwame Brown, and Kwame Brown keep responding. And it's hilarious now because it's Boyce being Boyce. And I was watching the video yesterday of Kwame Brown just going off on him and just addressing the situation. And Boyce he throws Kwame Brown's name. He throws Dr. Umar's name out there consistently. Lizzo. I don't know what the hell Lizzo said. I don't think Lizzo even said anything about Dr. Boyce Watkins. I just don't think that Dr. Boyce Watkins likes what she represents. And so it just seems like Boyce is being moist again. And this is the same. We're giving Boyce Watkins the same energy that we gave Roland Martin when he came at the young man King Randall. Because guess who inserted themselves in that situation? Boyce Watkins being messy, throwing shots at Roland Martin, because that was the perfect chance for him to throw shots at Roland Martin, and he did, and then brought King Randall onto his platform to interview him to be the good black person. But he inserted himself in that situation like he always does. Boy, sit your ass down, man. Stop doing that dumb shit, man. Because it's funny because he does this stuff and then he plays victim. Because yesterday he was like, I was just trying to be Kwame Brown's friend, just give him advice to try to be his friend. The man told you he don't want to be your friend. Let it go.
How are you trying to be my friend by capitalizing on my buzz in a destructive manner?
That's what Kwame Brown is asking.
Yeah, like that don't. But we know Boyce is moist.
Yes.
And that's why they call him Boyce Watkins, because he's very, dude is very sensitive. He's very feminine. And I don't mean to say feminine as if feminine is a bad thing, but it is when you're a man. Right? Like there's something wrong. And I know I'm stepping into Joe's lane with all of the crazy talk about people. So let me step out because that's Joe's lane. But there's something really wrong with this dude, because you're right. He takes every opportunity to insert himself into a situation that ain't got shit to do with him. But my thing is, you do it in a non-constructive manner. Like if you were positively inserting yourself into these situations, cool. Because a lot of these situations could use an elder spokesperson of his stature and his experience to kind of level everything out. He could be very beneficial if he played the role in a positive way. But he's always being messy when he steps in.
One of the things I don't like, and Dr. Claude Anderson need to check his ass, because he literally told Kwame Brown, because he mad that Kwame Brown don't want his help, no one talk to him, no one to be his friends. So he's saying that people from the NBA is calling him and asking him, man, why Kwame Brown coming at you like that? And he's saying Kwame Brown friends are calling him. And Kwame Brown is saying, first of all, people who are friends with me don't like you. So if anybody's calling you saying this stuff about me, they not his friend. Kwame, this is what Kwame's saying. But Boyce literally said that if you are attacking him, then you are attacking Dr. Claude Anderson. This has nothing to do with Dr. Claude Anderson.
It does not.
Keep that man's name out your mouth and keep that man out of this. Dr. Claude Anderson don't have nothing to do with you inserting yourself in this Kwame Brown situation, because nobody made you make a video about Kwame Brown. Yeah, nobody made you make the initial video. This has nothing to do with Dr. Anderson. Leave Dr. Anderson out of this.
Did Dr. Anderson tell you to make that video? Because if that's the case, then okay. But there are a whole... No, I don't believe that. Of course. I mean, there Dr. are holes. Go ahead.
Come on, Dr. Anderson been letting people have it for 40 years. You think that man just gonna stop speaking for himself now?
Well, I'm saying, this is what I'm saying. There's a whole slew of black folk, myself included, that love Dr. Anderson and the work he does and his message, and don't really fuck with you like that, boys. Like, it's a lot of us out here. And it ain't that we don't fuck with you because you're spitting bad information or you're ill-informed and nothing like that. It's because you're fucking messy.
Yes.
Like, that's the problem. Like, don't nobody got no beef with what you say or the information you provide. The beef is with how you move as a man. You're messy as shit. You get in cat fights over nothing with everybody. You don't conduct yourself the way that you would expect the elder to. You've been in all of these beefs with all of these people that people also don't have a hot. You'll get in beefs with Umar Johnson, somebody else that people are constantly on about his personal whatever. Tariq Nasheed, the whole RGB community, that group.
Yvette Cornell.
Like, you're right. Like,
Roland
Martin
her
up and then beef with her.
Roland Martin and Yvette Cornell, those are his arch nemesis. Like I say, I'm like, I don't think Lizzo even said, I don't have any record or anything of Lizzo saying anything about him. Now, I don't like, there's plenty of people who I don't like what they represent. But I'm not going to go on the crusade to try to tarnish their image and what they're doing. And he does that with Lizzo. But a lot of the manosphere do too. And I think a lot of them lame for that too. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, a lot of women say a lot of crazy, unrealistic shit. But I'm not finna go on I'm not gonna go make no hour-long video about Lizzo. He does that. He goes overboard to try to tear down Lizzo, and it's like, all right, cool. You don't like what she represents. Same thing with Cardi B. I understand. Look, Cardi B ass should be fucking locked up for that dumb shit because she told on herself. I agree with that. But he goes on campaigns about this shit, and it's like, but when somebody comes after you, you get all defensive. But you could go after everybody else.
And and that's right. Go ahead.
Finish.
No, I was just gonna say, but that's what it is. Because Tariq Nasheed still has a large fan base because he's genuine in how he moves.
Yeah.
You know, you can go after him, he gonna go after you, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be, but he don't pretend like it's something else.
We've been said we respect Tariq Nasheed because Tariq Nasheed is what he portrays is exactly who he is. He's not trying to be a leader. He's not trying to be a savior. He ain't trying to be the next woke person. He ain't trying to be remembered, followed, and none of that stuff. He out here entertaining the masses and throw some education in there every now and then.
Right. But with Boyce, you have somebody that's trying to be a leader, trying to build a legacy, trying to be remembered, trying to do all of these things, but then not moving in a manner that would allow those of us looking for somebody in that spot to be able to appreciate what he brings to the table. Like, go ahead.
You can't. Same thing with Roland Martin. You can't get mad when the community is calling you out because you're wrong. You're wrong. You get the same energy that Roland Martin is getting because you're wrong on this one.
That's some fuck shit. To make of it, and I didn't know what he had done, and I told you that when we was doing the pre-show meeting. I don't know what's going on with them, but I do know that I'm getting tired of turning around and seeing Boyce Watkins in the middle of a beef with somebody that don't really have nothing to do with him on his platform. And the other thing is, Boyce Watkins, you got too much dirt on your name to keep getting into these beefs in the first place. The whole thing with the Asian dude kind of
they done dug that back up. They done dug it back up. I've been watching YouTube this morning and then dug it back up. They call it because that's what Kwame Brown is probably still live right now talking about Boyce Watkins Asian Zaddy. And let me see. He been talking about Boyce Watkins Asian Zaddy all week.
That kind of kills everything that you could bring to the table. You know, and then with Yvette Cornell, I could be wrong, but if memory serves correctly, that's somebody that you brought up under your wing.
Yeah.
And then she flipped on you with a lot of dirt. Now, why did she flip on you? Were you doing whole shit where she was like, no, this dude is more of a bitch, more of a female than I am? Like what was going on there? You know what I'm saying? So my thing though is, look, I talk shit, but I can also take it. So I'm cool with whatever it's gonna be, but I'm not trying to be nothing other than what I am. And Boyce, I don't think he's comfortable with his position, but instead of doing what he needs to do to elevate his position, he's just going to continue to do whatever he does and continue to be upset that he's not in the position he wants to be in. Otherwise, he would have been accepted it, and he wouldn't be having these things where he's just going off on people and then playing the victim when it comes back at him.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on in this particular situation with Kwame Brown. And it's like you may see yourself as an elder, but this is where ego comes into. Because who the hell are you to be reaching out to everybody and expecting people to accept your supposed handouts or help? Like, who are you? Why do you feel that the community sees you in this particular light? You have a following. Cool. Most people who put out regular content have a following. Cool, but you have not been knighted that dude for our community. No, not saying you can't be, but I don't remember you being knighted as that dude. Well, hey, well, this is going on. Let me reach out in this and this and this and this and that. And that's what Kwame Brown keep talking about, the go along, get along game. Hey, come be a part of my friend group. That's the shit I keep talking about. Because I don't care what nobody say. We gonna fucking make it, and we're gonna make it without having to be a part of these friend groups, of these go along, get along gangs, these cliques that people keep being a part of. And it's like, if you're not a part of these cliques, then it's gonna be harder for you, because all the resources are just crammed in these cliques of people who talk about black people having what they need, but just got these cliques. Black America is too fucking cliquish. Get over that shit. That's one of the reasons why we're not helping people. And the idea is, come be a part of our group. And if you're not a part of our group, it's going to be harder for you. Hey, it ain't going to do but make us better.
Yeah, I mean, but that's where you go back into discussions about the boule class. And Boyce Watkins, while financially he might not be a boule, he's still part of that social boule class, that group of people with a large platform that support each other. But what, interestingly enough, in the black community, they can't put their egos to the side and work together, which is why one of the reasons why I think we can't get shit done is because everybody got an audience of 20 to 30,000 people. And it's like 10 people with an audience of 20 to 30,000 people. And all 10 of those people are beefing. So all of their audiences are beefing. Well, if y'all would all put y'all fucking egos to the side and work together, y'all 10 people could move a army of over 100,000, 200,000.
Hey, man, look, we got to stop with the bull. Like, there's a better way that Boyce could have reached out. There's a better way that Boyce could have reached out to Kwame Brown to be able to.
He could have reached out. He didn't even reach out.
Right. But they tried to call him after the fact, because Kwame Brown did address that. He called to try to reach out after he made the video about, well, this is how
I don't want to hear your shit then.
Right. But I'm just saying, because come on, man, you're a grown man. You're a grown man in your 50s. You didn't think that it might not be the best idea for me to put a video out explaining how this man's channel can be taken down. That was the best idea you had, and that was help for him. Instead of just, like you said, just calling him in the first place. And if he rejects your help, okay, you're not entitled to that man's time and space.
Right.
But then to get mad because the man don't want your help after you've made the video talking about, well, this is how his channel could be taken down. If you made that video about me, if you made that video about anything I got going on and we got going on, of, hey, this is how the Freedom Train video can be taken down because of what Joe and Pat is saying, and then put it out there for the masses to see, for YouTube to see, and all these other people to see. How does that help?
Yeah, no. We done at that point. And even then, even if Kwame didn't, so if I'm Boyce Watkins, if I'm me with my brain in Boyce Watkins' situation, one, I don't put the video out. I call him up, see if I can give him my advice, my opinion, my perspective.
Right.
If he denies it, I still don't put the fucking video out. That's called being on code.
Say it again. Say it again.
Being on code. I don't know why that's so. Everybody talk about the code, but don't nobody want to be on it when it's time for them not to do something they want to do. Nobody's
entitled to your advice or your supposed help. Nobody has to take that. If I walk up to a jit if I see a jit doing something that I think can be correct, and I walk up to the jit and I give the jit the information, the jit don't want it, I can't get into my feelings because I decided that I was going to just walk up to the jit and give them this information. It was unwanted advice.
And to to those people that would say, well, y'all just doing what Boyce Watkins doing. Y'all
No, we
inserting
not.
yourself into the. No, we not
No, we
inserting
not.
ourselves into the. We giving our opinion on the situation, but we are
Same.
not inserting ourselves into the situation. There's
No,
a difference.
no. I'm not trying to give Kwame no advice. Kwame don't need my help. Kwame don't need our help.
Yeah, Kwame don't need nobody's help right now. Not even Boyce Watkins. His platform is bigger than Boyce Watkins right now.
Kwame, look, Kwame made $60 million in the NBA. And he looked like he took care of his money. What's Boyce Watkins gonna tell him? When has Boyce Watkins made 60 million?
Boyce ain't gonna give him financial advice. I can tell you that.
He can't. Even though he has a PhD in economics. When have you made 60 million?
Well, but even to that, a PhD in economics is a lot different from a PhD in personal finance or something like that. Like we gotta stop with this. Just because you a doctorate in something, you're an expert in all things related to it. That's not what that means. We don't even know what specific field, what specific specialty in economics he got a PhD in. Not that it matters.
We ain't got to go that deep. Kwame Brown been a millionaire since he was 17. He's 38 now. Boyce Watkins is in his 50s. How long you been a millionaire?
Well, I don't like using that argument because it supposes that just because Kwame made more money, he's more financially literate.
No, but the fact that that was 2000, it's 20 years later and he still has his money. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I get it from that angle. I'm thinking about some of the kickback people would have to what we're saying right now. But I do get it from that angle.
Right. But just the explanation of it, I get it. I'm not saying just because you made millions of dollars in your 20s, teens or 20s that you're a financial expert. But Kwame Brown, from what he's telling us and for what all the information we have on Kwame Brown ain't worked for nobody since he left the NBA. He owns land. He has a farm and he makes his own money. He does his own thing. He still has his money and he don't need anybody. And he's good and his family's good. So seemingly he took care of his money. And I've yet to hear anybody who played with him or against him to say that he was stupid. Everybody talks about how intelligent and upstanding and strong he is, even though he didn't say nothing for 20 years. They talk nothing but good about him, about how intelligent and cool and solid of a cat that he is.
And even the people that don't like him don't call him stupid.
Right.
Like nobody's running around calling Kwame Brown an idiot.
Right.
So the brother is clearly intelligent. He's clearly well put together. And he clearly has something to say, and he's clearly been thinking about this shit for a long fucking time. You could arguably say the last 20 years. But the fact remains, so I go ahead.
And this the funny part. It's kind of the messy part of this, but and I get it. Boyce Watkins is not used to somebody calling him a bitch that strong so many times on camera and meaning it.
Yeah, and I can see how that would be off-putting.
It's like a cornerback coming in to a running back thinking he finna make the tackle and he getting stiff armed in the helmet and thrown 5 yards away. And you get up and you're like, what the fuck just happened? Because you're like punk, boy, and bitch, and the way he's saying it in a disrespectful tone to him. And Boyce is not used. Boyce is used to being roasted, but not straight up, you a bitch. And because he's like, you're supposed to be a doctor, you're supposed to be smart, but you come with all this dumb stuff. That's what Kwame is saying to him. And it's like, wow.
Yeah. That I think though that is what makes hood situations different, because Kwame Brown still seems to be very hood, and like it's not like being roasted. It's different, like you just said. The way that people in the hood could sun you without really talking too much shit about you, it's different. It's different if you ain't been in that and grown up in that. somebody calling you a bitch with inflection and tonation and calling you a boy and all of it, like it hit different. And that's part of why Kwame is blowing up with the audience he's growing up with, because we don't hear people talk like this about
On the
these
internet.
people. Yeah, that often. A lot of that shit, like you growing up in the hood and shit, you hear it, but you don't hear it
On the
on
internet like that.
YouTube.
Yeah. Because it's nobody, because like nobody really comes at the educated, the scholars, the PhDs like that. Like, you's a bitch. Like, they would say it to somebody else in the street like that. But you coming at, especially somebody like Boyce, because I think another part of that is nobody disagrees with Kwame.
Yeah.
Because especially if you've been following for a while, you've seen enough over the years, there are not a lot of people who are disagreeing with Kwame.
Nah, he ain't. But he ain't saying nothing. That's the interesting part. Kwame is doing all of this without having a core message that's controversial.
Right.
Like the way he's saying it might be off-putting to some people, but what he's actually saying, the majority of the people agree with. So, but I don't know, man. And you're right. When people start coming at scholars, they do typically try to come at scholars. They try to come on their level, speak to them very intellectually and very proper and whatnot. And Kwame is just like, fuck all that. You a bitch.
Yeah.
You a bitch.
Yeah.
And you a boy. So, but I don't know. To me, I don't know. If somebody made a video like that about me tomorrow, I would laugh.
I mean,
it's YouTube.
But also, like, you have to sit back and be real about, okay, as a grown man, I did start this. I did come wrong.
Oh,
I came wrong.
Boyce is dead wrong.
I'm getting the backlash that I'm getting because I came at him wrong. I shouldn't have put that video out like I did in my alleged attempt to help him. Like, how about you start asking people, do they need your goddamn help first? And that's just not for Boyce. That's for anybody in our community. Ask people for their help. Because guess what? I have to allow, one thing we teach, this is one thing, Sam Carter taught us this, and we still teach this when we're doing our HIV outreach, right? Because Sam put it like this. It was like, you could come into my neighborhood, and let's say I got a house with a fence around it. And you ask me, hey, can I come in your yard? And I tell you no. It'd be like, why can't I come in your yard? Because I don't want you in my yard. Like, well, I'm trying to help you, but don't come in my motherfucking yard. And if you come in my yard, I'm going to beat your ass. That's me not allowing you to help you. And you want to know why? Because I don't have to allow you to help me. You may look at me and be like, oh, I need to help this person. But I have to allow you to help me. And the situation don't even have to be that extreme. Guess what? I could have just been hit by a car and land in the middle of the street bleeding. And you walk up to me and say, hey, let me help you get you an ambulance. And I can say no. I can say no.
I've seen that happen. Literally that exact scenario. I seen somebody get hit. They were on the ground, bleeding, bloody, covered in blood. People were like, let me call you an ambulance. And they said no.
Man, a couple Saturdays ago, we doing vaccinations. A lady, 80 years old, fell out. It's about 100 degrees. She passed out from the heat. We're going to take her to the hospital. No. 5 minutes after she fell out, a dude on a motorcycle getting in an accident with a dude on the truck. He skint up. His leg broke. They like, let's get you to the hospital. He like, no. If them ladies wouldn't have forced him to go to the hospital, he wasn't gonna go. But guess what? The elderly lady didn't go to the hospital because people have to allow you to help them. And that's a message for everybody who call themselves serving the community. First of all, get your grandiose ideas about how you want people to be out of your head and fucking humble yourself better. It's not your job to bring these people up to your idea and your standard. Your job is to help these people become the greatest versions of themselves. So it's our job as community service people to shut the hell up and listen to these people and find out what these
Right.
people need and shut the hell up and get out of the way trying to impose ourselves on them and learn what they need and be able to support them in their needs rather than what you or me or anybody else is trying to bring to them based off some grandiose idea that we've created about people. Get over your fucking selves.
And to go back a little bit to the story I told, somebody did end up calling the ambulance anyways, and he still said no to the ambulance. And guess what?
They
couldn't
left.
do. They got in the ambulance and drove off.
Right. They can't make you get help.
So you're 100% right, and you're 100% right about people got to stop with this idea of I know what's best for you, so let me help you. No, that's not how this works. I don't give a fuck what you think is best for me. What do I think is best for me? That's what's important, because we're talking about me. And that even goes, we see it all of the time. I see it all of the time at grocery stores. Well, back when I went to grocery stores before the pandemic, motherfuckers, little kids would not, well, yeah, little kids, teenagers would be like, yo, walking up to people, let me get your bags. People would say no. Guess what? They didn't get them bags. And then some of them weren't even charging. They was just like, let me help you. They would see elderly women or they would see women with kids. They usually were only stopping for women. They weren't really offering the men. But all of the women, most of the women are like, no. And that's what it like. So it's something as simple as that, like getting somebody's bags. We talk about chivalry all the time. Opening somebody's door. A woman might not want you to open her door.
I'm cool with it now. The first time a woman told me no and was aggressive with her no for me being chivalrous, I was shook. I was like, man, what the fuck? But now, cool.
Right.
Cool.
You treat people the way they want to be treated. If she don't want you to do that, don't fucking
I'm
do
cool
it.
with it. I'm cool with it now because I'm not in that mindset of you have to let me help you. Nah,
Right.
I'm all right, cool. Bye. I will slam
Right.
the door in your face and make it harder for you to open it.
That's going to.
No, that's just a petty stuff. I'm just playing with that. But nah, seriously though, I'm not going to force my help on somebody. So
100%, 100%. But yeah,
hey,
boys, sit your ass down and stop being messy, because you could have a legacy if you just move different. That's my opinion. That's my unsolicited advice. That's me offering my help to you.
Hey.